Do you have any visibility then when Britain will join the CPTPP?
Well, it's a great deal for the UK. Actually, you mentioned that GDP figure. The GDP of the CPTPP area grows from 12.2% of global GDP to 15.4% when the UK joins. We're expecting to be the first country to join CPTPP as opposed to being a founding member. We're in the final stages of the negotiation. There's another negotiation round expected to be in Vietnam before the end of the month, and we're expecting entry into force at some point in 2024.
It's interesting because writing in The Telegraph, Ambrose Evans Pritchard has said this: the Pacific Pact is a big threat to EU trade supremacy. The CPTPP's growing momentum puts Brussels in the shade. Do you see it that way? And will Britain's accession be a significant milestone in a post-Brexit world?
Well, I think first thing to say is we've got very good trade relations with the EU. We have a very broad trade agreement, the Trade and Cooperation Agreement, which is tariff-free, quota-free trade agreement. That's in a good place. It's not an either-or. We want to, however, join CPTPP and be part of what will also be a global trading bloc. The UK joining, if you like, changes the nature of CPTPP from just being an Asia, just being a Pacific Rim trading bloc to being a more global trading bloc. As I mentioned, we will increase the part of global GDP that is in CPTPP from 12.2 to 15.4%, a growing part of that. It's a really good opportunity for the UK to be part of something that is increasingly setting global trade rules, and CPTPP will continue to grow, and not just in Asia-Pacific, I expect, but around the world as well. So it's a great thing for the UK, but it's not an either-or. It's not at the expense of our trade with the EU. Ultimately, the UK, as a free trading nation, we need to be free trading with the EU and the Asia-Pacific region.
Last mile is always the hardest mile, arguably, isn't it? And what sort of challenges and hurdles are cropping up in these final stage negotiations, Minister? Because Britain's agriculture lobby has been quite vocal about the government perhaps granting too much access to overseas farmers at the expense of Britain's own. Are you taking these concerns on board, and how can you engineer a balanced trade deal that satisfies all the stakeholders?
Well, we always take all concerns on board. I meet often with the National Farmers Union. Secretary of State Kemi Badenoch does as well. But here CPTPP is actually an opportunity, a real opportunity for the UK agri-food sector to sell into fast-growing Asian markets. By the year 2030, half of the world's middle class will be in the Asia-Pacific region. Their appetite for quality food and drink, including things like meat, will be growing. This is actually an opportunity for the UK farming sector to, if you like, get a piece of the action, to move in where others like Australia and New Zealand have moved in, selling into CPTPP. That's where the opportunity for the UK lies, is actually selling more of our high-quality produce, known for its high quality, into a very fast-growing region.